Hello guys and welcome. A bit of an interesting read. If you're usual to my channel, you'll know that this is not my usual setup because this is not a usual reading. I was reading for, myself this morning, or what's going on in today's world with the coronavirus, right? You might have noticed I've stayed away from it on my channel because I don't like putting things out there and speaking them into existence and things like that. Some of you may know I've been unwell for the last week or so, me and my family. We're starting to feel much better, so not to worry. But I pulled these cards this morning after a dream that I had that gave me some numbers or a date, let's just say. So the date was 27th of March. So just because I know some people will be like, well, what's the date? I don't think anything terribly significant that you guys should know will happen on this date. But I know some people would have said, well, tell us the date. So I guess this is why I'm now speaking about it on my channel. Because people generally want to know what's going on in the world, what's happening, and, are we safe and things like that. So without further ado, let's just start the reading. And you guys should know. Also here, this is why not to text your ex in quarantine. Okay? But we'll get to it. Strangely enough, it started off with the Seven of Cups. Me saying it started with me for a dream. Like I said, it's not my usual setup, so I'll pick up the cards and bring them closer. So it started off with the Seven of Cups, and I felt this is more Pisces season, more what was being hidden from us on, I did the prediction video about fake news, so we did have countries hiding what's actually going on, that things don't look as bad as they actually are, so it started this world epidemic. But I also did mention in that video about fear-mongering, right? So I'm not sure that's the term all over the world. I'm from little old Yorkshire in England, so I thought about Monsters Inc., right? Has any of you got kids seen that film, Monsters Inc.? Well, it's some monsters who scare children to generate energy, and it's all they've ever done to generate energy, and they make the children scream, the energy bottles fill, and they have energy to run their monster world. What they end up finding out is that laughter is just as positive, if not more so, in fact. And this is basically like our world. I feel like you can see that in a lot of films, it tells you a lot without actually telling you. So by scaring people, we generate a lot of energy in the world. But here I feel with the Seven of Cups, what we started off with was a lot of confusion on what's actually going on. A lot of people felt like they're not actually getting the right information that they need. Right, so that's where we started off with the Seven of Cups there, and then to the Knight of Swords, who delivers the truth, but it's a harsh truth. And the Knight of Swords in this deck, I mean, look at him, all this darkness behind him, and these butterflies. So I felt like maybe some of you even felt this coming as well, just like us light workers, like us empaths. A lot of you are very in tune with your intuition and felt something was coming, something was bubbling up, and you may have not known what. And then this truth with the Knight of Swords here, it hit you like a ton of bricks. So, you know, it's like, this is again with the fear. And what we had next to that was the Nine of Swords. So when you've actually got some information, it's created this fear. Nine of Swords. Anxiety, sleepless nights, people worrying. And we know the Nine of Swords is worrying about things that are not going to happen, right? So I do want to tell you, please, please, please try not to have this anxiety, this worry. I know a lot of people have been panic buying and things like that. I haven't personally, because I've noticed a lot as well that what people have been doing is taken away from people who can't afford to buy it that day. Right? So in England, people have bought out all the baby milk. I understand everybody's thinking each to their own. You know, I've got to protect me and my family and my baby. I understand that. But at some point, we've got to start caring for each other. But I know this fear and anxiety, worrying that, you know, I'm not going to have these supplies, which they do have lots of supplies, okay? So I want you guys to calm down on that, right? Some people have been buying it and then reselling it for 5 times the value. Is this a world we really want to live in where, you know, when people have fear, that rather than comfort each other, we take advantage of that? I wouldn't hope so. And then I had this Nine of Pentacles. So this is the isolation, right? And the Nine of Pentacles is not negative, but you do notice 2 nines next to each other here. So we know the nine's related to the Hermit, being by ourselves, working on ourselves, is not a negative thing. Okay? And it shows here also, you'll have this food, you'll have this growth, you'll have this abundance of time that maybe if we look at it differently from the Nine of Swords, you know, if we looked at this information differently, because we know it's all about perspective, right? I guess we could say it's sort of the Hangman as well, like being by yourself or feeling stuck inside. A change of perspective would be the whole world of difference, right? Time to maybe do the wallpapering, do the exercising or that healthy eating plan that you didn't have time to do because of work and things like that and the rest of your busy lifestyle. And you may be saying, well, I won't have the money. But the governments are trying to, you know, inject some cash into people who can't get to work as well. So they will be doing this, okay? I know some of you may have bad opinions of the government. Me too. But they're going to do this, okay? So I know how it starts off and how it looks. And even here, I pulled a card for these and it was the Judgment card, okay? This had to happen. I felt at first, you know, like, well, this is sort of probably man-made. Not to offend anybody, but if they say, you know, it came from eating bats or these wet markets are absolutely disgusting and need shutting down. But they've been open many, many years as well. And people have been eating bats for many, many years as well. So here I took this more of divine intervention. I mean, these people are just polluting the earth. Look at all these clouds and everything behind. And I actually seen a video on YouTube. I'll try and stick it in the description box. About just 3 days that Wuhan was shut down, they had their first blue skies in I don't know how long, 3 years or something. 3 days took away that much pollution. I guess I'm just a person who does try and look at all perspectives. So I was trying to look at the positives, not just the negatives, because really what the people from Wuhan have taught us, in order to get through this, we need this faith, positivity, and everything going on in our life. And we do get to that down here. But what was interesting was this Devil card. So what it's generating is what I was speaking of in that Monsters Inc. scenario. This negative energy that I feel like a lot of people will benefit from. Okay, so I don't think that, you know, the powers that be are fully off the hook here for, look at this hurt and damage that they're causing to every human being. I mean, that comes from pollution as well, right? And making us work so hard that we're full of anxiety. We don't have this personal time to grow, to heal, to do our soul's contract. So there's a lot going on in this card. Next to that was the Five of Wands. And I felt like a lot of this energy that we're picking up, and during quarantine when we're on our own, all the extra energy that we'll have will result in like these family arguments, disagreements. What's the best word to put it? You know, all this inner turmoil here. I feel like this shows up here as well with the Nine of Wands next. All this inner turmoil, like, I've been through all this and now we're going through this. I love this Nine of Wands card. If you guys have seen me use it before, I say, look, it shows you how far you've traveled. You know, it's okay to have a rest. And again, I just realized it's another 9. So it's okay to have a rest. Take this time out for yourself. But all this extra negative energy, I feel like it's even coming up as desire. I've noticed it a lot. Like I said, in the awakened community, this sexual energy that's really going around. So in the awakened community, you might not be arguing with people. I did post about a crystal on the face, you know, like when you really want to tell people, but you're trying to keep your zen. So here I feel like, you know, if you're keeping your zen, it might be coming out in all this sexual energy. As long as it's not like aggressive, it's fine, okay? So yeah, time out. The Nine of Wands, you could be feeling blocked, frustrated, and this inner turmoil, like, oh, what can I do? I've got all this energy. But because it's negative energy, that's why it's coming out as wands, I feel. I do have candles going, and I did have them, you know, rather than the reds for love that I usually do, I've got calming colours here. So I do hope you know, it has some effect on you, this reading, like to not panic, to change perspective. Look at it as a positive time to do things you need to do in your home or for yourself, and not to take away from other people and panic buy. And then after the Nine of Wands, we had the Four of Cups. And I said in the beginning, this is why not to text your ex in quarantine, right? It is a joke sort of as well, but it's not, right? So I feel like this is you in isolation, getting bored, or me in isolation, getting bored. And I say the ex because here comes the Knight of Wands. And the reason not to text an ex in the retrograde is because people are feeling this sexual energy and this fiery energy. So I do believe they'd probably come round. Okay? But I think they're bringing with them, look at this, all this extra energy. Maybe even, I don't know, something you don't want in your house. I mean, when I was poorly, when I was ill, as soon as I felt a little better, I got up and I bleached the whole house, the handrails, everything. And do you want people bringing this in? This negative energy, extra energy you don't need right now? And look at this. What came after that was the Tower. And believe you me, if you really do love your ex and want them back, you don't want them back in the Knight of Wands energy, because they leave just as quickly. It's basically a booty call. So then we had the Tower. And I don't read my tarot books because I'm an intuitive reader. But my granddaughter loves these books. The ones without pictures. So the booklet from this deck, I tried to give her it today. Just to have a look through. She's the little Aries. And she opened it up to the Tower page and passed me it back. And I was like, oh, this is the Tower of Babylon. Because I just read this. This is the Mythical Tarot deck. So each picture is, you know, something from a mythical time, or what people want to call myths. So this is the Tower of Babylon. And it was built after the Great Flood, right? So we've had plagues, we've had the great floods that clear the earth. And this is what I was speaking of up here. Divine intervention, which the Tower usually is. And we know from normal readings that in general, people will fear the Tower, fear change. But it's usually something for the better, right, guys? So if you accept this offer or call your ex round in the retrograde, I feel like it has major changes in your destiny, right? I feel like if you could possibly have got back together in the future, that will be sort of rewritten and you won't. Because then the Page of Swords came, and it's telling the divine here, the Hierophant, that you would still have a lot of information to learn. Because by this time, where we're at now, in this 3D world, most of us should be consciously in the 5D world. So we should be in the heart chakra. We should be coming from a place of love, not panic, not fear, not, you know, taking from others because we can, basically. That's basically panic buying, taking from others because we can. I mean, I don't really know how food stamps work because, like I say, I'm in the UK, but I just heard food stamps. So what if people only get their food stamps on a certain day? And they can't get it. And then by the time they go to get it, there's nothing there for them. So I do believe this is, you know, divine intervention, checking. How much do you have to learn? Are you still going to keep tripping over the same mistakes here? Fun fact, Jesus came to, it just made me think here of Jesus, came to bring us into the 5D. So that was like 2,000 years ago. We were supposed to be moving into 5D during the age of Pisces. Now we're going into the age of Aquarius. So we want to take on the positive aspects of Aquarius, right? Not being like if a lot of people would judge Aquarius if they're not an Aquarius. Okay, they just ghost on me and they ignoring me, calling me back, staying by themselves. Rather than, actually, they're working on themselves. They're working for themselves. So, like I said, I feel here, this would be sort of you showing the divine, you're a page here of swords, still with things to learn. So I feel like what it would lead to was dealing with this heartbreak all over again, because we have the Three of Swords. And this Three of Swords is growing pains in this deck, right? It's a pain, an awakening to help you grow, get your wings, overcome this. But it'd like be getting hurt all over again, okay? Then we had the Ten of Wands. Interestingly enough, under the Nine of Wands. So depending what route you take, I feel like this is just more of a warning. Like I said, I was sat here meditating with this reading and I got, why not to text your ex in quarantine? And this is what I just found it like whimsical at first. But in actual fact, I feel like it's a stark warning. Ten of Wands. This Ten of Wands is about learning to say no. So maybe it's your ex texting you while they're in quarantine. Maybe they are bored. Four of Cups is boredom. Knight of Wands. It's basically a player. Ten of Wands. Learning to say no. Not carry this burden. And look, here's the fire in the background. Walking away from this fire. So I feel maybe walking away from this tower, you know, not letting it happen. So being able to say no would stop all that. But here, I really wanted to know, like, later on down the line, how can we do this and what can we do to get through it? And, you know, will there be a happy outcome and things like that? Okay, so what I then got was the Chariot. And I was like, yes, success. We shall overcome, right? And I wanted more clarity than, yes, success. I know when you guys watch general readings, you can be like, well, I'm going to successfully, overcome it. How, when, where, sometimes it generates more questions than answers. So I pulled extra cards for it here. So the Chariot, it shows us taking a new direction after dropping all this burden of what's going on, about this fear of being alone, this fear of not having enough, when the divine told us we'll have enough. So when we've learned to drop all this, say no to anything that's not serving us, this devil energy, it's not serving us, then we get success. We get this forward movement. I definitely feel it's together, okay? Three of Pentacles here was the first card out. So I guess that's because I was really quite upset up here about people taking from other people. And what it's going to teach us is this unity, this coming together. I don't know if you guys seen, Italy's in lockdown and they're singing on the balconies and things. How wonderful, right? They're working together to keep each other's spirit up. King of Pentacles. So I got like warrior, this war mentality. I guess we could look back at how we came together during the war and things like that. But I feel like this is again up here, because I'm asking, how can we overcome? How can we move forward with the Chariot? How do we get this success? And I feel it's here, this working together. This, we've been through this before. This is this King of Pentacles is wearing all his medals from everything he's been through. So I feel like this is, like I said up here, like plagues and great floods and things like that. We've overcome things before. And we do it together. These world wars and terrible events that we faced, in the end, pulling together is what gives us that strength, right? But I also feel like this is physical exercise. Okay? Physical exercise. And then I got the Four of Wands. So most of the gyms and everything will be shut, so it'll be hard to get motivated. For me, when I seen this and I thought of my household while we was ill, I thought about us all laughing, playing music and singing and keeping your vibrations high. This unity, again, that we can see, this 11-11, this unity coming together and staying together. Look, we're not separate. You know, there's one race, the human race, right? You know, there's this human consciousness and this unity here that's important. And the Four of Wands is the home card, so you can do all these things at home. Get out your yoga mats. Actually here, we did have the meditation card come out. So I feel like it's more than this, just meditating. I feel like you have to, with the King of Pentacles coming out, because he's usually the gym guy, work out at home. Maybe you've been saying for ages, I'm going to go on a diet or I'm going to do some exercise and get healthy or whatever. Do it at home. Okay? Jog on the spot. Walk the stairs. Do some star jumps. All that is going to help, because exercise gives you positive energy, blood flow, health, you know, things like that. I'm not saying if you're feeling well, get up and start jogging around. I'm saying if you're feeling good, work on that, you know. And then you're working as well, especially for twins, because a lot of twin flames, you're here for a reason. Not just to find your love and lay in their arms forever. You're here to raise the vibration of humanity. So step up, especially if you want to come into union. Okay, get out of that phase, because this here, as you will see, the Six of Swords was next. After the Chariots, this is that successfully moving forward. This I felt was moving into 6D, right? Some of you may be above that already. This is, you know, when we get down here and we're moving through this positively with a change, you know, a new approach to life, seeing things differently. Like, okay, maybe you get scared and you say, I could have died. I'm going to wake up. I'm not going to keep going to those jobs that make me miserable. I'm not going to keep these relationships going that make me miserable. That's where you want to be. You want to be, what do I want to do with my life? I want to move forward. What's my life purpose? What's my soul contract? What am I here for? So however you get to here, if you know, take the difficult way through fear, you'll still get here. You'll still get here. The divine's going to keep pushing us forward now. Because like I said, we're now in the age of Aquarius, and this is why we see Three of Swords and Six of Swords here. So we're going to get this push forward through this rocky time, this crazy water that we're in, you know, this time of uncertainty. And some of us will be a little bit fearful, and some of us will be here and have been put here to light the way. So we all will be moving forward through this with positive, you know, the Six of Swords is about positive thinking. That's how you're going to get through this. That's how you're going to get through this. Positive thinking and faith here. You know, if you can look how it came. The Knight of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and Six of Swords. So here, maybe this is, you know, Gemini season then. So yeah, end of June, end of May, beginning of June, Gemini season, we see as like pushing past this now. Okay, and then I got the Page of Pentacles, and of course we will have all learnt this very valuable lesson. And we'll have this new seed to plant. Okay, we'll say thank you to Pisces season up here. But we have this new seed to plant, something that can grow. This new mindset of strength, happiness, positivity, working together. Hopefully we'll take all that with us, right? Because moving into the 6D here, which we really, really want to do now, so that we are no longer just sat watching TVs and things. Then I had the Ace of Swords. So we have this breakthrough, you know, this final cut off, I feel, of Pisces season, Pisces age and into Aquarius, right? This breakthrough. And again, it can be this breakthrough, maybe in the virus or something, that's why, you know, we learn something about it or where it truly even came from here, you know. But what's most important is this clarity that we'll receive, the ascension, the letting go, the freedom even. Look at this butterfly. Spread your wings and fly, butterfly. You know, this breakthrough that we'll get, it also invites so much love, right? The Ace of Cups here. This is the only way we're going to get this opportunity for love. By unity, by strength, by keeping our bodies, our temples, vessels, transportation, whatever you want to call it, healthy, because it's important, right? That we look after our planet and our bodies and our families and our mental state as well as our bodies. That's the Six of Swords as well, right, guys? So, yeah, meditation as well. I feel like meditation and yoga on its own won't be enough to combat all this extra energy you are going to be receiving. But it's very important. Okay? So maybe if you feel like, oh, I'm going to argue with these people, they're annoying me, they're hurting me, they've hurt me over and over and over again, maybe here, meditate, okay? But maybe here, take, you know, this left here and, or right on the camera and say no and exit the building. And we finish with the Three of Cups, which I love. It's, again, where is it here? Unity, this coming together. Good news and celebrations. You know what it reminds me of? Like after the war, well, in England, they had these big street parties and things. You know, rather than cutting each other off and stopping other people's children from eating. I mean, if you don't want to have contact with your neighbour and you can't or something, maybe put something on their doorstep. You know? Like, come together, people. Just come together. It's heading in a good direction anyway. Good luck, guys.